Okay. This should be working. Here's hoping my voice holds up today. There you go. Okay. So, drink water is the name of the project today. And the goal will be to add. I'll go set to select. Okay. Oh, that's actually helpful, considering the size of the project already. Okay. So if we run this. So in the name of the project, actually drinking water is good. Okay, so we've got a few things to tighten up in the UI side of things, which again, I don't think that's a problem for me because this is kind of my version of the UI. Let's see if we can tweak this a little bit. So the problem is it's reloading, and let's stop that running. Let's stop the Blazor client running there. Right, that should have stopped that, yeah. And then let's go to a terminal and let's do .NET watch. Oh, yeah, no hot reload. I'm using it for the purpose of hot reload. Apparently the hot reload in 2024 is better, but we'll see that when we get it. Okay, so that opened up on the other tab. So first problem is this reload. I believe that's happening because it's checking things it shouldn't check first. So that's F12 that. Console. It looks like a cause error. It's not actually a cause error. So it looks like it tries to authorize the token we have and gets an error back. So it's the state provider, layout, home. So we do this, is authenticated, and we try and get the token. If we've got the token, we send it back there. Let's remove the token and return the success code. If it crashes, notify user has changed. So we always want to do the notify to tell it things have changed. So where in that stack is this erroring? If I reload, I think it doesn't fail, right? So it only fails the first time it loads up. So if I shut this down, if I close this out, right, and I open it again, yeah, it doesn't fail the second time. It only fails the first time. So it fails when there's a token there that's invalid. So test at nowhere.com test. So I can prove that by this. So I'm logged in. I shut it down. I open it up again. I'm logged in. Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting thing to fix. So what we're going to do is in the API, we have the validate endpoint, right? The problem with this is it returns, if the token's good, it returns, I haven't done that. Oh, it's console. Hold on. I can't search in this one. Huh. Hi Hades, how you doing? How's things? Not bad, not bad. I think I've still got my voice, which is good. I'm kind of slowly recovering. So, avoided streaming over the weekend. Let's see. So this isn't returning. Right. I don't think that's actually getting called. I think the fact that this token is being received is actually. I think this is good enough, is the point. So today I'm working on the simpler stream project. This is the water drink water project. Oh, there you go. Oh, so I must implement it. Okay, so that's okay. Good to know. Seems the flu lingers. Hope it's all gone soon. Yeah, me too. It's been driving me crazy for a month now. So return task.from result. Results.bad request. So I wanna make sure this always fails, even if I've got a token. Is what I'm trying to do here. No. Damn, that's a long time. It's been summer here, so not as much flu, but seasons are changing. Yeah. Yeah, I first picked up issues. Yeah, it's been a month. Tomorrow will be actually 4 weeks exactly, so yeah. And as you can, I mean, you've only known the stream with me like this, I think. So, but my voice doesn't normally sound quite so crunchy. This is a hard problem to solve because I've got to get the timing right. So I think what's happening is I get here, I get the token, and I get the bad request. Fast endpoints, I love it. Introduced two companies I've worked at. Hi, Topspike, how you doing? Yeah, I was using our Dallas API endpoints, and then Bobby the Builder pointed out to me that even our Dallas had changed to using fast endpoints in another project. So I checked it out. It's not. I think actually our Dallas's API endpoints have a nicer API, but I think obviously fast endpoints has a much richer integration. So it's so yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, that's because that's still running. That's why that's doing that. Nope, you don't want to do this. Come on. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of procrastinating a little bit on the I'm trying to do some tidy up stuff on the simple client example. No, so the Blazor app and the API. So the purpose of this project is primarily the API, right? So the API is we're building the application in a kind of a haphazard way, kind of how you might actually build a project if you're just kind of throwing things at the wall. So it's kind of following some separation, but it's not really a very clean API. And the idea is that if you want to build a different UI on top of it, you can do. So you can contribute a different client instance to it. So that's why it's built the way it is. I think what happened is I made a mess with this by running it in Watch. No, and honestly, that's the entire point of this project, is to do that, is to discuss it. It's not to do necessarily anything of any value on stream, right? The entire purpose of this project is so that people can tinker and learn and grow with it and ask questions with a bunch of other people that understand what the project actually is and whatnot. So I should probably start by introducing it. Let me see if I can actually get this to work. I'm wondering if it's crashing too soon. There we go, starting now. Okay. So Blazor debug proxy error, no debuggable pages in the browser. Oh, so it is starting and then erroring. No audio, but hello. Okay, so let's go back to this. I kind of need the Blazor client debuggable. That's the problem. So it starts and then ends. Why do you do that? You're working before. So yeah, the entire purpose of this project is one of contribution or of collaboration. I do this project 2 days a week because it's a little bit more approachable than the main project, right? My main project is quite a challenging, and I've had several people say they kind of hang out, but they don't actually pay much attention because it's too hard to take in what I'm doing. So this project is aimed at being everything, like everything the other one's not. Oh, it is. And actually over the weekend I was making some further notes and realized that it's going to get a heck of a lot more complex before I get anywhere further. What is this message that pops up? Restart session and wait until the Blazor debug proxy error. Blazor debug proxy error. So the reason I'm using Blazor here is because I don't use Blazor normally, right? So I'm a fish out of water with Blazor stuff. Even more so than other UI side, other client side stuff. So the goal is that I will struggle just as much as anybody else, and I want to demonstrate that just because I've got some experience as a developer doesn't mean that I'm automatically going to be able to pick everything up and run with it, right? I'm going to hit the same problems. It's let's shut that down. It's perfect. I'm in a fresh belt, so this is awesome to get to see how you figure these issues out. Yeah, and that's exactly why. It's kind of why I stream, because you look at a lot of examples, they're very much do this, 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 and this, and everything. If everything works perfectly, the project it works. But then, where do you take it after that, right? How do you go past the bounds of that tutorial, right? And I think that's a common problem for us as developers. Is it's easy to follow an initial tutorial or whatever. It's difficult to follow a complicated tutorial. But you can follow a simple tutorial, but then how do you go beyond the bounds of that example? And yeah, there's a lot of things that I think benefit from doing this. So this isn't the first time I've ever tried to do this. Blazor debug error proxy. Why do you not want to work? Come on. Not do much with that. It seems like that's the what are you erroring over? No, that's not even mentioned. Oh, that's still getting. Huh. Still getting points to Stack Overflow for a question I asked 14 years ago. Okay. So we restarted. Let's do this. Let's open the folder. I'm not in release mode, so I'm definitely building it. But it's not getting to the browser. That's the problem. It's not starting the debug session in the browser. See, now it's just confused. Clean solution. So what I'm trying to start them both in debugging because I need to be able to walk through that initial start, and it's just not letting me. Assets file. How have I now broken? I've had this happen so many times now. So now, because I deleting the bin and object files of any project should not cause an issue, right? But it's like it's got a necessary piece inside of the object folder. I'm not missing anything. Error assets file, Blazor. Come on, tell me that. No, my backend server's there. Shouldn't have to do NuGet restore. That's a ridiculous fix. Looks like it's happening a lot, though. But this is old. It shouldn't build dependencies upon the... Well, that'll be next. What I'm trying to do is see if I can fix it without it, because I've seen this before. So it looks like this can crop up for any number of reasons. So yeah, I mean, we'll shut Blazor. We'll shut Rider. So this could be that I have a something has copied a dependency into the folder incorrectly, right? But it looks like it's very deliberate. So let's rebuild. See, that ran a NuGet restore. So that actually did probably fix the problem by virtue of being a NuGet restore. So again, I'm being held up here by things that aren't actually my problems. Come on, don't do it. Blazor debug proxy. No debuggable pages in the browser. Restart the session and wait until the debugger is connected. So let's do debug. So the problem is it won't start the... It won't start the Blazor client until... Oh, there we go. Oh, you're kidding me? It's because it had one open? Well, that's not ridiculous at all. So if I normally shut it, it closes the client down, but the one time it didn't, it stuck it in there. Yeah, you can't have two sessions open on it. Okay, so what I want to do here, so test at, so I want to log in, then I want to close it down, then I want to restart the Blazor client, and I want to test to see if I hit this breakpoint. Why don't you hit that breakpoint? On startup, you should always hit that. You should always hit that. Because endpoints validate head. Oh, breakpoint there as well. Well, what I'm trying to test is, well, it shouldn't, no, because it logged in. So what I'm trying to validate is that it gets here. What I'm trying to get here is to always return a bad request and see the behavior. Because I think what's happening is the token is set on the client, it's trying to pass it up, and some sort of ordering means that it errors on the client. Or it's got no token and it tries to validate an empty token, but that should be that. So it should say, no, I'm not valid. So let's start that Blazor client up again. You've got to hit one breakpoint at some point. So this should hit this breakpoint because it should go to validate. Okay, so we got here. And we still log in. So we did hit the endpoint. How do we hit the endpoint but not hit there? Oh, because this isn't actually debugging, because it's, you know, why would you actually connect both debuggers at once? Let's close that down again. That should end. Yep, there we go. Let's build that once more. Unfortunately, I need the debugging, so I can't just do the run. Why aren't you? There we go. That looks healthier. What? Oh, you're determined to test me today. So the goal here is that this authenticated. So again, what happens is when we go into the home page will authenticate, right? It will check to see if it's authenticated because the home page is the one that's navigated to all the time, he says with confidence as he starts to think about maybe it's not. Layout, main layout, nav menu, no. App. I wonder if, because we broke this out, this will always kind of work, because the problem is the authentication state can't validate the token. It happened in Visual Studio too. It might not happen in the same way, but it might happen. It should happen the same way. I mean, I'll validate. We can open Visual Studio. Rider's just my preferred IDE because I'm more comfortable with the navigation and just the style of Rider. So multiple start projects. Let's go and validate the debug statements. But I think it's not even getting. I think this is happening. And I don't think that actually fires. Because I think the layout, no, not that app. Consumption state provider. That's our state provider. That's not the authentication state provider. Authorize. There's our state provider. Cascading authentication state. So some of this is me getting used to Blazor's workflow, right? I don't, the life cycle of things in Blazor is not always the easiest thing for me to figure out. I love PyCharm, so I've been tempted to try Rider. I mean, again, the beauty, I use PHP Storm at work right now. So being able to maneuver between PHP Storm, Rider, Data Grip, etc., just being in the same group. Hamza, hello. I'm using C#. Right now, this is Blazor. On the client side. Don't know why a CSS file is going to help me anyway. Let's just see if it gets these. To be honest, Blazor is not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea either. If I'm very honest, there's nothing that's won me over with this at all. I'm using Blazor so it's away from what I normally would do, right? So I have to struggle. It helps me show, how I'm kind of learning it, the struggles I'm having. So I think what happens here is this. Oh no, it does validate. Token. So we get an exception. And then we remove the token, and then we get back in here. Token is null. Identity is false. Why do we get an error though? See, this bugs me. So if I look at the actual error logs here, right? what it's going to look like is a cause error. It's not a cause error. Like, this request was not blocked. If I go to API here. So the good news is the debugging worked that time. That opened in Chrome, right? Yeah, maybe. Okay, so let's log in. Right, so we're logged in now. So now let's stop running. What I'm trying to do with that bad request is say that the token's invalid, but it doesn't look like that does anything. Okay, so we start up. Okay, so we do that. We get that. Oh, we got a response this time. No content. What? So that logs us in. But we don't hit validate. Or do we? Let's close that down again. So as my small noise tell me you're making front end, right? So this project is a kind of viewer friendly project, right? The goal is it is primarily an API. Let me share the link. And it is a project that is aimed solely at being built on stream, right? So we have an API instead of SingleR. Well, I mean, SingleR might be a technology we tinker with in future to try and help, but the API is built so that we can kind of produce a consistent set of data, right? So we can create a standardized API that everyone could communicate with. And if you want to tinker with building your own clients, you want to build a React client, you want to build a Svelte client, a Vue client, or whatever, you're more than welcome to do it to demonstrate the differences in how you might build a client on that technology, right? So it's kind of aimed at being a project to help tinkering, right? So we can talk about technology, we can talk about design, we can talk about how to overcome challenges, how you might do things. Because, I mean, if you've been developing for more than 5 minutes, you've heard, oh no, use this technology. Oh no, that's way better than that technology, right? If I say I use Angular, some people are like, ooh, Angular, why not use React, right? Why not use Svelte? Why not use Vue? Why not use this? Why not use that? There's always a different option. So this project is aimed at being, and I only do development of this on stream, right? There's nothing done off stream by me at all, right? So the idea will be we build a list of issues and items that people can pick up and tinker with, and we do all PRs and stuff on stream. There's no code done off stream for this by me. I only do what you see, and the goal is, you don't do a big PR with, hey, I fixed all this and designed it properly, right? That's not the goal. If it's something that you think where the technology could, or the design could head, that's a discussion, right? We can have a discussion about how we might change things, how we might design things. So the primary goal of this repository is very much one of contribution, of a collaboration, right? So the API is primary. In this instance, yes, I'm developing a UI because it helps to show something, right? So let me remove all the breakpoints and start it up so I can demonstrate it for anyone who hasn't seen it running before. So the idea here is that what you do is you set a target goal. So the idea of this application is a simple one. It is basically that you are tracking your water consumption that you drink every day, right? The idea of it came from me and my daughter. We both do some karate, and we're both bad at keeping track of our own water, right? There are apps on our phones. There are apps all over the place. We can go to the Play Store. There's all sorts of things we can do to solve that problem. I'm not trying to actually build a real application here, but it's something that kind of inspired me to think, well, it's actually a pretty simple concept with some hard components in it that you might miss, right? So you set your target, you set your time zone. This is so you can log and again, YouTube contains all the back videos for this. But we did have one stream where we discussed the time zone and why that matters, right? So we got into quite a rabbit hole here, tracking the time. So you set your target for the day. You can go here and you can log, I drank 25 ounces, right? And this increases over here, right? Yeah, light programming for your own uses. Yeah, I mean, that's the best type of project to make. If you're beginning development and you're trying to figure out what you need to do or how you need to do it, build something you care about, right? I've built many applications on stream, things I do care about. I'm a big game person. I love game collecting and playing. So I have a large game library that I keep track of, right? And that's another project I built on stream. So the concept is that what you'll be able to do is share a friend's code, and other people will be able to join your friends group, and then you'll be able to kind of see each other's progress towards your goals. You'll never see the other person's goal. The idea is not that you see that I've set 250 and you've set 20, right? The goal is to show, hey, by the way, you haven't drunk enough water, and we'll put nudge. So when we're talking about SignalR, that might be where we use SignalR technology. Right, so we can experiment with that notification push side of things, right? And the benefit there is being that if you're developing a different client for this, you can still use all the same technology. You're not prevented from using it because you can just pick up the SignalR library in JavaScript or whatever, right? So yeah, the project is aimed at being just an easy to understand, no real complexity, but some complex features. And it's all done on stream, right? Yeah, just making it a fun little thing. So the idea would be that you add your friends in here, and then you nudge them when they're not drinking enough water. Like if you're at midday and you're at 50% of your water consumption and they're at 10%, you might want to nudge them and say, hey, you might want to drink some water. Yeah, the more I'm talking there, I'm actually about to do the same thing. And the name Drink Water is inspired by this gentleman is a game dev, and he has a lot of bot stuff. So if you haven't seen him, I would recommend checking him out. His stream is absolutely crazy. I'll put the link into YouTube as well. His bot, it has a water reminder in it, and it'll say water, drink water. So I hear the bot voice every time I see it. So that's why this is called water, drink water. So there we go. So that's the general project. Again, you're more than welcome to take the repository, tinker with it, go off and play. You don't have to contribute anything. The streams supplement the content. So the discussion that happens on stream about the project is the backing of the project, right? So there is no me going off and working on things off stream. The main project that I do, like we've said, is a lot heavier, a lot harder to approach, and yeah. So this isn't returning anything bad. So why would that error in any way, shape, or form? So we return the status, and in all cases we notify a changed, which does the get the token. If it's been removed, it will return a new claims identity, which by default, yeah. So all content is in YouTube, right? So all the videos, for this project and everything, and because I stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. There is a playlist for water, drink water. So every stream I've done on this is going to be there. So, and again, any questions, you're more than welcome to join the Discord. You're more than welcome to ask about this anytime. Junicus, who's a long-time stream supporter, is also building a React client to demonstrate this. So we will potentially have a second client joining the stable soon. So you'll be able to look at how you might do the same things in React. So you're more than welcome to join the Discord. You're more than welcome to ask. You're more than welcome to check out the project. If you check out the project and you have challenges with it, if you struggle, then please make notes and contribute. You can use the Discord to ask the questions, and you can, we can change the getting started, right? So some people have gone through and done some getting started stuff, and yeah. If you decide to pick up an issue, just check to see if anyone's working it. There are some where we've got dependencies. What I want to do is build towards a larger set of things that can be built independently, so that you can pick up something and work on it. I don't want to just do things that you kind of dream up and contribute. I kind of want to do, hey, let's have a discussion and talk about how you might do that. What I'm hoping to do is learn Blazor and rebuild my last project using whatever resources I can along the way. Yeah, nice. As a young man who is passionate about technology, what do you advise me to start with? I mean, where are you in your journey, Hamza? And I cannot read that. Start with as in language, start with as in framework, start with as in technology. Like, there's all sorts of different things. I've been doing this for 25 plus years, right? I've been in technology for a long time. I've been a developer for 25 years, professionally. And I just find myself constantly chasing, how to get better. So, don't just hop around things, I would say. Kind of figure out what you enjoy doing and build something around that. If I get the whole, oh, well, Rust is better. Oh, well, Python is better. Oh, well, this is better. Oh, well, that is better. And you could continually chase those things. A long time ago, I made a decision to kind of settle on, I'm going to use this language. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to build my professional career around this thing. So I built around .NET. Right? .NET, if you're going for a professional pathway, there's still a lot of .NET out there. It's still growing. The frameworks continue to improve. There's very little you can't do with .NET, right? I kind of, everything is better than nothing. Prove me wrong. Well, there's a phrase, jack of all trades, master of none, right? But in your beginnings, you may have made a mistake. I want your advice to learn faster than someone who knows nothing. Make mistakes. Learn from your mistakes, right? Mistakes I made in the beginning, I look back on now and I'm like, oh, well, that was silly. Well, that's because I've got hindsight, right? So I can look back on what I did and say, oh, that was very wrong. But that's because I now know better, right? So it's easy to say you can't avoid all mistakes, and embracing your mistakes and understanding why you made a mistake is more important than not making mistakes, right? If I had to look back and say, hey, did I choose a wrong path? No, I don't think I did. I think I got into .NET. I put my effort and energy into building ever better applications, and I continue to try that to do that today, right? I'm not perfect, right? I'm not the most amazing developer you'll ever see. I'm not the cleverest person you'll ever meet, right? But I can develop applications and I can build good software, in my opinion. If I can say one thing is, don't just chase what everybody else does, right? I'm not saying go out there and say my way is better than everybody else's, I'll do it this way and no one else is right. What I'm saying is, don't assume that because someone is don't assume that because, like, if I'm producing this content, right, if I'm saying, hey, here's how to develop software, right, and I'm building this, right, and it's why I keep saying this is not a reference application. This is an application in which we can discuss how we might change things. There are things in here that I've deliberately done that are poor, right, because I want people to see them and call them out, right. I'm not pointing them out now, by the way. So you're more than welcome to look at this and say, hey, well, this person says you should do it this way, and this person says you should do it this way. One of the key things is with software is make maintainable software. Don't make software that follows what someone else expects, because when you hit that limit, when you hit that point where you don't quite understand how to take it beyond what they've designed, right, you're going to have a problem. So adaptation and growth for yourself is more important than following what someone else says. You build a ladder to climb higher in knowledge out of fails that you learn from. Yeah, Kanye's right? You have to reflect on what you've done to understand how to go forward. So, and have fun. Enjoy what you do. If you don't enjoy what you do, it will be harder and it will show, right? I love this, right? I love software development. I love sharing what I know and learning from others, right? It's something that I embrace deeply and I miss, because I don't currently work as part of a team. I work alone on a lot of what I'm doing. I don't get to collaborate very often. So this stream is kind of my collaboration, right? And yeah, pairing up with others, seeing what other people, getting other people's points of view is very important. So. And yeah, I'm at 25 years and I've not quite lost that passion or energy to do this, right? I still want to do this every bit as much as I did 20 years ago. And believe me, software was very different in the early 2000s. I don't know how to fix this problem. I'm not sure I should spend a ton of time scrambling on this right this second. It doesn't really hurt us to move forward, right? Interesting that the debugging in Blazor, in Rider didn't function, but the Visual Studio one did. So thank you for that suggestion, Hades. It was a good choice to not stick to my guns and what, no, Rider can do everything Visual Studio can. I don't know why that went weird, but I'm going back to Rider because it's a nicer environment for me. There was a suggestion, by the way, that I don't know who it was. I should really make notes of that. So I apologize if you're in the stream and I'm about to say that I don't know who did it. Was it? I think it was IPAX, actually. Thanks, man. Really, thank you. You're welcome, Hamza. I think it was IPAX, right? To use Visual Studio Code. I think it was you last week, right? IPAX that suggested that maybe I use VS Code to demonstrate it that outside of a paid tool set. Yeah, early days was more like code, please work, just work that I can go on. Meanwhile, oh, I know how to fail this task in X different ways. I know how to solve it in X different ways. What is the most readable way? Yeah. And again, that's growth, right? When you're early on, you're trying to solve the problem and you don't know about the importance of making that code readable. I'm not saying whack comments everywhere, right? But you don't really appreciate that need as much as you do later on, because you the hard stuff got easier, and the really hard stuff is still hard. So, yeah. I'm going to test something. Projects, stream. No, you'd think that would be in there, wouldn't you? Where is Drink Water? Stream projects. Dev, stream, projects, Drink Water. It's absolutely fine. The beginner code can be duct taped and fall apart when you blow it the way right. It was the goal, not that it's long term. Yeah. So I don't have the I don't have any real experience of using Visual Studio Code to build this. So I'm gonna I'm not trying to put this back on you, iPads. I'm just saying I'm going to create an issue for it because it would be helpful for someone to do. Because I see the benefit, I see the purpose. I still have trauma from the first time I tried Python outside of idle was with VS Code. I didn't know I had to install a separate compiler. Yeah. It's kind of why people settle in their ways, and I think it's like installing Windows, right? When I had Windows 95, I installed that like every couple of days because I'd tinker and break things and learn, and I got very good at refreshing the system. These days, the more tools you have, the scarier that concept is. And I know there's some, using things like Chocolatey and stuff and kind of creating a scripted startup is possible. So you can just say Chocolatey install and install all your tools and stuff. That's a good way of doing it. There's a push towards using cloud-based systems as well. So you can do, I was actually tinkering with that yesterday in terms of Dockerized development environments. I get the point of this one that the tool set I'm using is nice and clean, right? Although, as we just demonstrated, it has some holes, it seems, right now. But if people want to get into this and they don't want to use Visual Studio full, or they want to use, they don't have the money to buy an IDE, they shouldn't be forced to. So be able to demonstrate it. Yeah, Visual Studio Community is totally free, absolutely. But again, it's still Visual Studio, and it's still pretty heavy. And some people might have VS Code installed and not want to install Visual Studio. So having the option there. Right. So we'll document that as an issue, right? And what I'm trying to do here is build up some things that are useful to the project. Not always. Oh, I apologize for ads. Should I need to spend some time getting the bots in configured, so I can automate some messages and do things, but it just doesn't interest me at all, tinkering with bot stuff. Like, I just want to do development and stuff. It doesn't, either configuring other people's bots or getting my own bot up and running, it just doesn't hold the entertainment value for me. It's not what I'm about, so I just put it off, and yeah. Okay, so I'm kind of tinkering here just to make sure that I want to tighten the Blazor experience up, but I don't think I'm going to get there because it's just not. So that should do that. On home, this feels like a chicken and egg problem, right? It feels like a because we get there, we do get to not authorized, so we know that. Get the login page. So again, the idea would be that if we're not authorized, we get sent to login, but then authorize. So is this a lifecycle problem versus a? I think that'd be the one thing, because my VS Code is so stuffed with other things. I don't necessarily want to do that, so I'd have to do the sandbox install of VS Code and get that configured before I could even tackle VS Code properly. Otherwise, I'll have to remove everything. And, yeah. Okay. So we do get here. It does return a bad request, but it doesn't make a difference. And if the token's valid, one way of doing this would be to go and change the validation window, right? So we have the token service, right? And this is a hard-coded expiration. Let's do that. Auth expiration. What do you like about that? Oh, that's that. Oh, that's because that's. What? Two-string interpolation. No, it doesn't like that. What do I like about it? Use a format provider when parsing a date and time. That probably wants parsing, is that? Oh, okay. Let's see. You know what? No. I'm doing the wrong thing here. So the bad thing I was trying to do there was I was starting to think about, okay, well, I'll just make that configurable, right? But I don't want to make that commit, right? There should be a reason to do that, right? So again, I need to start logging issues versus actually trying to do things myself, because these are little things that actually could take quite a while to figure out if you've not done them before. But like it doesn't benefit the project if I just go off and do those sorts of things. It benefits everyone if they see the need for that and they can see it tracked. So I shouldn't be doing little tweaks and fixes here and there. When you're working in a code base, it's oftentimes tempting to just change things, right? Because you think it should be done better or you think it could be done differently. But that's why all PRs will get done on stream, is because we'll go through those sorts of things. And if you've done that sort of stuff, yes, the PR is going to get rejected, but it's worth discussing and talking about as a team and treating the stream as a team, right? Why that is. It's got a side effect. There's an unknown side effect there that could cause a problem, and helping everyone kind of better. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to do this temporarily to try and make the expiration happen faster. I shouldn't be trying to change the code and make it configurable. That doesn't benefit the project there. That benefits me immediately. Let's see if this will actually run now. Make timeout on token configurable. Right now, the token service sets the timeout, the expiration token to 1 hour. It's hard coded. We should provide auth. Hi Sorcery, how you doing? Hope you had a good weekend. I'm trying not to dictate in here how to do it. Yeah. Labels, enhancement. So I've got to figure out, I've got to learn how to tag good first issue, good newcomers, because what is a good first issue, right? How you doing? Feeling better? For the most part, you maybe hear my voice is still not stunning, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Documentation. Sounds better though. Yeah. It's had a good weekend. Yes, wasn't able to work on the game much. Huh? As long as you had a weekend, that's good. Yeah, my weekend was not too productive. Didn't do very much. But hung around with the family, which is nice. Sat down and kind of played Assassin's Creed Origins yesterday with my daughter and wife, kind of watching. They like watching video games, so I'll go with that. Okay. The method, so that's because there's no implementation whatsoever for that piece. Awesome. So I got to return something. Debug. So at least with this, the token validation will come down. I love ancient Egypt, and I've had that game under the radar for a while. Still haven't touched it though. Another game to consume my life. Yeah, I spent 4 or 5 hours on it, I think it was yesterday. And the one thing I've got a complaint over is the accents. I don't know, some of the accents just did not sound... It sounded more like they were like from the West Indies than they were from Egypt. So in a world where we're trying to make sure that actors and actresses are more representative of the countries they are actually from, I don't think there was very many Egyptian... I mean, not that ancient Egypt sounded exactly the same as modern day Egypt, but at least, yeah. So the accent sounded a little bit more West Indies at times than it did what I would imagine. Okay, so that's working. So there's no token there. So we log in. So we've definitely got a token. We stop running. And Hades noticed that ran without any issues then. There was no problems attaching Blazor debugging to that client now. For no reason. We restarted Blazor before. Oh, we restarted Rider before. So I'm testing something today. I've said that I need to make notes on stream about, different things. I need to kind of keep track of things because I lose track of what I've said sometimes. Sometimes I lose track of, concepts or ideas that I've talked about. So my wife gave me this Rocket notebook, right? And what it is, it's a digital notebook. You get a special pen with it, and you write in the book and then you can use the app and take a picture of it, and it digitizes it and kind of indexes it for you, so you can actually fill in certain things to add categories. But I figured this is a good way of me being able to just scribble down notes, but also be able to catch them digitally if I feel they're valuable, and then erase them. So the book is actually fully erasable as well, so you can just kind of use a marker eraser. And it's just a special kind of pen. And it digitizes really nice and solid. It's, so I'm testing that now. Because if I get a paper notebook, I just end up with scribbles and arrows everywhere and just like doodles. And then, so this is kind of a way of doing that. So I've got a specific page I can put the title on. It'll actually capture the title from the title box at the top. It is, let me, yeah, I did. I just said it too fast, I think. I'm going to put an affiliate link in because it's the quickest way of doing the, where is it? They do different sizes, different, all sorts of like different things. So I'm going to put an affiliate link in just because it's the quickest way of doing it, but it's that. So you can get different sizes and you use an app and then you can just take a screenshot of it. So you can go and scribble it down and then capture it as an image. And from what I've seen so far, it takes a quite nice image. So I'm trying to get better at my organization. Rocketbook, I think it's called. Okay, so I've given it a minute, right? So now this should be expired. I think this will now error. Oh, come on. I quite like the sort of things. I've been trying to figure out how to get better organized. It's a big challenge for me because I'm very I am very disorganized, and I'm trying to figure out if I can take notes on stream of things. If I just have it to my side, I can make a note. Then I can better credit things at the end of the stream and keep track of things. Because especially with this project, I do want to make sure I don't lose track of things like IPACs and the suggestion on Visual Studio Code. I'm glad you were around and you were able to prompt. Yep, that was me. Because I couldn't quite remember. But being able to track those things is better. Right. And that's kind of the thing I do as well. But then you end up with books and stuff, and you're like, well, that note's useless right now, right? Because you might have made that and it's just got lost in a pile. Well, the idea of this is if it's something that I find useful, I can take a screenshot of it and I've got it. And if it's not, I can just erase it and I can use the page again, right? So it comes with a cloth, and you can use a cleaner to wipe the entire page off. And the pen itself is actually a Pilot friction ball, so it's a special kind of pen. It's still a regular pen, but it's a special kind of pen for this surface, and it has an eraser on it, so you can erase little areas of the page with it. But yeah. Okay, so let's start the API. We'll start .NET Watch there. Ooh, already in use. So that's telling me something. That's probably why the thing's failing. From 7077. This is super flaky. Yeah, so we knew it was erroring. Nope, you still don't want to bind, do you? So that's the problem. That's what's actually erroring. I think it's still not cleaned up underneath. So what am I not? Close Visual Studio. It ran the first time and didn't shut down. But if I clean it, I'm going to have the issue from earlier on where it's not going to be accessible again. Okay, hold on. No. So interestingly, it doesn't know it's connected, but it's there. And it errored. And again, what this is showing is not right. Right? So this is showing that it's got a cause issue. It does not have a cause issue. It's the token. Now if I start it again, yeah, that's running. That's going to error. Yeah, unable to. Well, I'm ready to throw this out the window. Oh, we know that'll cause an issue. Come on. So that runs and no error, right? So once it's cleaned up the token, so it's definitely the token exists. When it fails, it removes the token, right? So a restart will not fail. So I think what actually the problem is the token's expired. And even though it catches it, I think, and again, it's not debugging because I can't debug, it gets here. And I think that is enough to mark the reload problem at the bottom. That then removes the token, returns false. You get to login screen. You don't log in. You close it, and it'll start up, and there'll be a token there. So the problem is, why is that throwing an exception? So this has to be here, right? You have to have something in there, otherwise that fails outright. But if that token is validated, is this why this is? I've got like a million different versions of it open. Is that why it's struggling? Let's see what that does now. So I don't have any versions of it open. All right. Again, if you're new to the stream, you're more than welcome to ask questions. This stream is not about me achieving something or failing poorly at something, as currently happening. This is a contributive stream, so you're more than welcome to ask questions. I'm happy to discuss things. If you feel that I'm doing something that's kind of wonky, you're more than welcome to share that. I am using Rider. It is my preferred tool. I'd rather persevere here. Visual Studio does seem to work a little better for the debugging, right? Without a doubt. That's kind of been the story so far with Blazor anyway. The other Rider's been quite far behind. in that aspect, without a doubt. Actually, you know what? I'm saying that, and I should just suck it up and deal with it, because this is I need that debugging. I can't avoid the debugging. So I think the problem is that it throws an exception. And that's what trips it up. So right now it won't throw an exception because there's no token, right? So it'll say this needs to so much slower. So I think this service, this is authenticated. I think it gets here, and now in the case where the token doesn't exist, I think it returns false. Let's see. So we're gonna log in if it does work. Right. So no error, and it didn't even hit. Oh no. The method or permission is not implemented. Well, that's an interesting. That's an interesting thing. Okay, so now we're going to close that down. We're going to give it a minute because we've set that to a minute on the token service, and we're going to. So again, the application service for the token service is over here. We add a minute, so that expiration is very short, and then. Why didn't you get there or there? So let's if not so the problem is this is a hold on. So if we allow anonymous here, what that means is it won't authenticate. If user dot task typed results dot why can't I do that? Not really winning the award for the most readable code, but it's okay. So what I'm trying to do here is make sure that this can come in without a token and see if that, or an invalid token, and see if that actually goes through. And because then if it's not authenticated, because the token's invalid, we should get the right result back. I'm wondering if that's the problem. So now we've waited a minute just by messing around with that. I want to see if this causes any sort of different issues. Now, interesting. That error appeared before it even hit here, right? So our response came back with a 204. Okay. And we logged in. That is not good. So if we look at the token, right, application, we go to here, we copy the value, hit value, copy. Let's go to jot.io. Trying to be better. I want to say JWT token too often. Expiration 8:25. So it expired several minutes ago. So that I should not see this page, right? Because my token is technically invalid. No, it's not technically. It's actually invalid. So what should have happened there? Let's let's put a breakpoint here and see if that's actually the case. So I want to see if I validate it still. Interesting. So we do get, we're not validated. So if return, so we should get into here. Interesting. So let's go. Let's do this. So results, task, results, okay, bad request. Right. Little fly. But, so if not user dot identity is authenticated false. So what's the problem there? Results. Oh, so I have to return an actual, yeah. I have to do results, okay, bad request, and then that becomes type results, bad request, right? Why don't you like that? Post. Task from result. Ah, oh, that's a generic as well. Right, so we're doing it that way. Type results, top bad request. Oh, because that's not a bad request of string, okay. So you can't do that. Because I'm not giving it a type on that. Yeah, okay. Hey Patrick, how you doing? Alright, let's test that, see what happens. I'm fighting the Blazor right now. It's driving me nuts. The Blazor. Okay, so at least it didn't yet dump me into the application. That's interesting though. It's still returning 204. Right? So that's still logging me in. Okay, working from home and taking a half day to go see the eclipse. Hey, nice. I like the concept of seeing an eclipse. Isn't it the lack of light? So therefore, you technically don't see anything. Sorry, I tried to move away, and yeah, my apologies. So that's still logging me in because this is coming back with an OK. But it shouldn't be doing because this shouldn't be being hit. This should be being hit, right? So let's restart that once more. It's really neat that we even have the circumstances for it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we definitely get into bad request, right? So why are we getting a 204? Yeah, it's a big one as well, right? This is yeah. And we are in that zone. So you're driving further north, Patrick? You're actually going into the into North PA. I think you're out in like towards Philly, right? So yeah. Last one I saw in 2017, I think it was halfway across the country from totality, and now I'm just an hour. Yeah, you're like just an hour or two north, and you're yeah. A lot of the schools here are closing early, changing activities, etc. Okay, so why is that? That's what I was going to do. Yeah, I think that will change the behavior. That's cool. Response. There we go. Almost. So it doesn't log me in now, which is good because it removes the token. So the problem there is that, and this is probably something I should change at this point. So when I started creating the API for water drink water, I like using API endpoints, right? More commonly right now, you're going to see controllers or what are they called? Minimal APIs. You're not going to see API endpoints like this. So I think a piece of difficulty I added to this process was adding API endpoints in here, which was not clever. Because I think I went with something I prefer, which was probably not better from a discussion perspective. It was probably better to say, hey, we're using controllers. Here's why we might use API endpoints, right? That is the old way now I'm looking at it. So API endpoints are cleaner. It does give us a lot more organization, right? And I prefer API endpoints because it is, if you create controllers, they become dumping grounds for functionality. People start putting more logic in them than they should be, and then you've got this controller file that has all this behavior in it. Minimal APIs work where you're on a few endpoints. Once you start to get to many endpoints, the problem becomes organization. You've dumped them in the program CS, or you've started to actually create structure around your API endpoint, around your minimal API in which case you've got controllers or you've got API endpoints, right? So I like API endpoints. This is fast endpoints, the particular library. But there's some quirks and some difficulties in using it that I think could be avoided using more traditional tools that we could then migrate to later. But at this point, it is what it is. But there is a difference in this with the handle async and execute async. Handle async accepts the thing, and as long as it does it, it just says, yeah, I did it, right? Execute actually returns a result. So every time I was using handle, as long as it didn't crash, it returned, yep, I did it. Right? So I was getting okay when it wasn't okay. It still didn't fix the problem, but it does solve the fact that it's now returning a bad request on the client. So I can actually know the difference now. But we still have an issue in so much as this is still failing, right? So that's no longer the problem because I think it's going to return bad request. And I'm just going to leave this token. So this has now removed the token, so I shouldn't get an error. Right, no error. Anytime, so much error handling in response to Radio Station API. Well, again, I kind of hold on to that attitude of I don't put error handling in until I know what errors I need to handle for the most part. Okay, so I'm gonna shut that down and give it a minute. I think when you're writing code, writing the quickest possible thing isn't always the best thing, but being able to iterate over it and review it is essential, and being able to change it. So I don't believe in adding error handling the first time or the second time or the third time. Like as you're developing, you'll see the sorts of errors that can occur, and you should evaluate whether you need to change your code or whether you need to actually catch an error or handle an error properly. Sometimes it's validation. Sometimes it's actually making sure you're sanitizing the data going into the API that's actually necessary versus actually dealing with, oh, well, what if they put this value in, right? Sanitization can clean things up. So I'm a big believer of Yagni on that sort of stuff, and also, if you start saying what if, don't listen to the what ifs. So this has no token. Oh no, this should have a token now. And it is validated, but it's bad request, right? So we get in here, we remove the item, and then we should trigger notify user has changed, right? So we should get here, right? And this goes in here and then triggers this get authentication state again, right? Which gets back here and gets a token, which now has a blank identity, which now shows an error. Well, there was no error in that path now. So what's the error? And if I look in here, I'm just going to get told it's a cause exception. And it's not a cause exception. That is not the problem at all. Right? Unless this is throwing an exception. So again, unhandled exception. Where was the unhandled exception? Where did that throw? Where do I catch that? Again, this would make me think that it's a request thing, but there's no problem. API consumption. Why are you into consumption? Ah, hold on. Because of the consumption context. Let's do this. Oh, I've got hot reload in this one, but never mind. So I think what's actually happening is this consumption service is actually now running. And I think where's the user service coming from? Oh, we're injecting it that way, okay. Oh, because this is, yeah, okay. So we don't need that. We need the state provider. We've got a chicken and egg. So the app now has the consumption state provider wrapped around it, right? The state provider, the consumption state provider is so that we know what the current, so we can, in every single page, we can update the consumption and have the nice water glass fill up. But the problem now is this doesn't know if it's authenticated. So it's trying to get its authentication. It's trying to get its consumption, but the consumption is bad because the authorization is bad. So the consumption context, the consumption state provider goes to get the user service, get consumption percentage. There is a token. Hold on, why? That shouldn't valid. That should just return 0. Is null. Hold on. Try that again. Oh, this is the first time though, when there is a token. Sandro, that A8, thank you very much for a follow. Appreciate it. So let's log in here. Now let's close down. If you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, you're more than welcome to share. This project is a stream project, so it's all about the discussion. Hello properly. How you doing, Mr. Jones? I think the dogs might be restless, which is not good. Let's see if we can get this one working and then. So I'm just giving it a minute for this to work. Do you want your cough back yet? No, thank you. I've had it a month. I'm good. It's not gone entirely yet. Any day now, I expect to be clear of the cough. Although I woke up this morning with a rotten sore throat, so yeah. Junicus, hello, how you doing? Okay, so my bet is, so the token should have expired. Oh, tell me no. Tell me that doesn't make that call beforehand. Tell me that works. Okay, hold on. So that'll succeed. I need to run it again. Okay, so we get in there first. Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, let's just do that, shall we? We'll just completely fold on ourselves. Come on. End task. Come on. Go away, Visual Studio. Come on. There we go. We have a chicken and egg with the way calls are being made. We're using Visual Studio because the debugging experience for Rider is better. So the problem is because we have the consumption state provider around the entire application, right? This is happening before everything else, before validation, right? So it has no idea if the validation's good. So it goes to the API consumption, the token's bad, this returns an error, right? So I think catch. I think that's necessary. I'm not going to put that breakpoint there because it definitely hit before everything else before. So the problem is the token's bad, right? We need a state for that. So if I log in, right, now close down, give it a minute. It was bugging me that. So today I decided to just tinker with some of the little bits as I talked about things to try and kind of get an idea of other things that would be useful to add, right? So we've added a few issues in there for documentation, for getting Visual Studio Code running, make the token configurable, etc. So little bits here and there, but I figured it was better to kind of fix this problem that's been bugging me. I gotta go take care of stuff, unfortunately. I'll be lurking. Have a great rest of the stream. Maybe I'll catch you later. Sorcery, thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Hope you're well and hope you have a great rest of your day and look forward to your stream tomorrow. If you haven't followed Sorcery yet, she's developing a fantastic looking turn-based, well, it's like everything's like tactics game, base builder, etc. So highly recommended. Okay, so now when we run this, I'm hoping that it'll get here because I think it's throwing an exception. Doesn't matter that it catches exception, but I don't want to see the yellow banner at the bottom. Yep, that's fixed it. Well, take care, Sorcery. What adds to the auth state provider? What is the auth state provider providing in its cascading parameter value? And could we add something there that can validate a token? We tried that initially, and that broke everything. So the idea would be the call to the head validates the token, right? But we don't know the token's valid unless we put the code to decode the token, but then the server side has the yeah. So that's working a bit better now. Still, it's losing that. It's losing that log. Something is not right there. Dang it. Oh, because the token's expired already. But no, that shouldn't be a problem. Uh-oh. Doggies have something they shouldn't have. Okay. Well, that's going to be a challenge for tomorrow, I think, unfortunately. Well, we went back to the login endpoint, and maybe we need to return a bit more than just a token. Maybe result as a token enough to help figure out when it expires. I still think that's like that still feels like a kludge. Like, that's not a normal pattern, right? Like, should the client need to deal with that? It is a normal pattern to get more data than just a token to actually understand the expiration. Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, I suppose it is. Yeah, of course it is, because I'm used to seeing it, aren't I? I'm used to seeing, if I get a response back from auth0, I have ID token, auth token, expiration. Yeah, of course I get that as a response, don't I? Yeah. Sorry, I was typing this. Yeah, but yeah. And refresh. Okay. Then yeah, let's work to do that tomorrow. So we're gonna change response with token. And then we can put the validation to work to invalidate. Okay. Okay. Well, maybe we'll start talking about building that out. But I need to run. I have I'm now trying to take notes. I have a note-taking method that I've been looking at. Unfortunately, if a certain British streamer didn't start up his stream yet, so I don't know where to take you today. But I've got to run because I've got to get these dogs sorted. Yeah, finished. And then use on the profile stuff that's not including the token initial. Yeah, I've made a note. We'll have a look at that tomorrow. We'll add that in there tomorrow. We'll add. So what I'm trying to do right now is just add some of the stability things to get this. Hi, One Lane. Hope you're well. I want to get the client into a good stable place so it can demonstrate the app properly in the process, and also it allows us to tighten up the API and make sure all that's in good place. I think my dogs are tearing my sofa apart, so I'm going to have to go.
I just think that some people appreciate going to an app dev. I do read a lot of game devs because there's just more game devs deving, but they're fascinating. So anyway, I'm going to rate Clayman. I have rated Clayman before. Clayman is developing an awesome looking game in Unity, and yeah, I'll Deflux. Good timing. Have a great day. I will. I'll be back again tomorrow. See you all later. Thank you very much for joining me, and yeah, take care all. Bye.